Hey everybody, so today I'm talking about the new movie The Fall Guy. This is my new movie review for you today. The Fall Guy is an adaptation of a show that came out in the 1980s about this, unknown stuntman that really went on these side missions to basically, whether it's a producer or whoever his client was, whoever wanted to get the job done. And that was basically what he did on the side while working as a stuntman in Hollywood. So this new film, The Fall Guy, which is directed by David Leitch of Deadpool 2 fame, I believe he co-directed some of the earlier John Wick films, and he also directed Bullet Train from about a year or two ago. So he's directed a couple things. He's also been well known for being a stuntman himself within Hollywood. So he's actually done some stunt work himself before becoming a film director. But in this movie, though, you guys, The Fall Guy, the film adaptation of the show, we do follow a stuntman who basically is working on a film set, and the main actor goes missing. And so one of the producers of the film, rather than getting the police involved, rather than reaching out to the studio for more money since the production she's working on is going over budget, this producer wants the stuntman to go and find the lead actor himself. So a series of events happens, and they have to figure out what exactly happened to this actor, what kind of conspiracy is happening, why is it happening to this specific production, why does this producer want Ryan Gosling himself to actually go out and find this person himself, so that the production of this film can continue. And while all this is going on, the Ryan Gosling character and the Emily Blunt character, who happens to be the director of the movie, they have a little bit of a romance themselves, kind of an on and off relationship. And the film kind of happens around the time where the relationship is they both have interests. They kind of sort of want to get back together, but they know that they have issues and that there's going to be problems if they do that. And so the two of them over the course of this film have to figure out if their relationship is going to work or if they're just going to be working people that happen to respect each other as colleagues on film productions. But overall, guys, I really enjoyed The Fall Guy a lot. This is a very fun movie. I enjoyed Deadpool 2 when David Leitch was a part of that. I'm sure I've seen some films where he's done some stunt work for the film and stuff, but I haven't seen a ton of his movies, so I really couldn't go into this film knowing like, oh, well, David Leitch is attached, therefore it has to be great. So I've only seen like one of his films, and obviously that one film I saw was very good. But I really, really like The Fall Guy. I think this is I easily like this much more than Deadpool 2, to be honest with you. This is a very fun movie. David Leitch was kind of the perfect person to be attached to this for the simple reason that he was once a stunt person himself. So he knows exactly what these stunt people have to go through to get an action film, got to get an action scene filmed for a movie, or to what kind of pain and suffering they have to go through for multiple takes of something to get something right. So just a very fun film to watch. So let's dive right into the positives and negatives of why I really like the movie. Well, there's a couple negatives along the way too, but for the most part, why I really, really like the movie though. And like I just mentioning, and it's going to be my first positive for this category, is this is a very fun film to watch from beginning to end. Very fun narrative, very fun use of comedy and action and romance. It's kind of a little bit of everything for everybody. There's kind of a little bit of each genre here. There's even a little bit of a mystery there if you want to add that in there as well. But just a ton of fun to watch. David Leitch absolutely made a very fun movie here. I can't even begin to explain how much fun this movie is to watch. It's just total fun from beginning to end. It's definitely no secret why this film came out at the beginning of the summer movie season. It definitely fits into that summer blockbuster kind of a vibe for that kind of a category as well for where this film belongs in. I also like how the film honors stunt people and it also perfects its own stunts within the film itself. There's just a ton of sequences that really could go to show what stunt people have to do on a daily basis on just a simple day of production, just how they're really kind of putting their life on the line to get a certain stunt performed. And there's some really incredible stunts too in this movie that really are fantastic to watch on screen. There's something that they do at the end credits that really do show what kind of stunts for this film in particular they had to go through and kind of the process to get the stunt perfected. So definitely an honor to the stunt people. Definitely kind of an honorary tribute to all of them. So I really like how the film perfects its own stunts while also honoring that community within Hollywood as well. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt have great screen chemistry in this movie. They're funny together. They're romantic together. You buy their screen, they're by their screen chemistry. You buy them as a couple in the movie. I like their back and forth. I like how there's even simple scenes where they're sitting in a truck together and they have this banter back and forth that's very effective for their characters. Definitely a fun role for both of them. You could definitely tell both of them had a blast making this movie. I just love the screen chemistry that the two of them had over the course of this film. And overall, this is a very effective comedy. When the film has times where it's trying to be funny and trying to make you laugh and all that kind of stuff, it was a very effective comedy. There's just a lot of scenes where I really was kind of laughing out loud at some of the really good laughs in the movie. There's just a really fun movie to watch. It makes you feel good. I just love the comedy that was used in this movie. I thought the screenwriting for this film, as far as the comedy was concerned, was very effective. And I just really enjoyed this film as a comedy overall. There's also a stunt dog that's used over the course of this movie. There's kind of a little bit of a backstory between him and Ryan Gosling. Very fun character. The dog definitely gets a lot to do once you kind of get to know what the dog can do and how Ryan Gosling can put commands onto the dog for what the dog can do on sets and stuff like that. So very fun character. If you like dogs, there's a stunt dog in this movie I think you're going to have a blast with. And there's kind of a joke that's used with him a lot that never really gets old. It's always fun whenever they apply the joke between for this dog that's used over the course of this movie. So if you like dogs or if you like interesting characters, the stunt dog that's used in this movie is a ton of fun to watch. And that also goes to my next point. There's just a lot of deep character backstories and deep personalities for these characters that are very effective, that are very, we always talk about how we always want more character development in films. And I think The Fall Guy does the trick. I really do think that the Ryan Gosling character, the Emily Blunt character, even this producer that we follow over the course of this film, this Winston Duke friend that's kind of the stunt coordinator to Ryan Gosling. He has a little bit of a kind of a backstory and something interesting to do in this movie. The Aaron Taylor Johnson actor character that they have to hunt down in the movie to see where he is. Every character kind of has their own little backstory and their own little set of personality traits. And so that's something I really liked about this film is even the characters that aren't significant to the story necessarily get something interesting to do in this movie. It all feels deep. There's personality given to the characters. I just really liked all the character work they did in this movie and all their backstories and personalities and how they're flawed and how they're perfect at certain things but really flawed in certain areas, just like how people are in reality and stuff. So I really liked the character work in this film. I thought it was very effective overall. Some negatives I have with the movie, though, is unfortunately The Fall Guy has a hard time finding an ending to the story. There's really kind of three different endings to this film. One that kind of wraps it up with a bow perfectly at first, and then they kind of go on, and you kind of understand why they're going on. But then it just feels like it's just kind of expanded to be expanded. And then there's an ending to the ending with a post-credit scene. So it's just one of those stories where it just has a very hard time figuring out what to do with itself. It's not that each of these endings, quote unquote, were bad. It just feels like it has a hard time wrapping itself up, what exactly the final punchline of the story was. It just felt like it had a hard time deciding which ending to go with. So rather than deciding on one ending, they put all the endings in the movie and just kind of put them on the chronological order the best they could, and hoped that we would all enjoy the film based off of these multiple kind of endings that are given to us. I also thought some of the shots they use to David Leitch has a habit in this movie of kind of lingering too long on certain shots. I don't know if he was really just making the point of some of the visuals are helpful for us understanding kind of what the joke's going to be or where the story's about to go and things like that. But there is a couple of shots every once in a while where it does kind of linger on for too long for what it should be doing. And so I thought certain editing, certain fine tuning that this film could have done, I think would have gave us a better product overall. So maybe just one final fine tune of the editing, I think definitely would have benefited this film. Like I said, some of the shots do go on for a little too long, I felt. I also thought the tone of the story overall switches around a lot. It goes from romantic comedy to action to drama to mystery. And I get it. All of them are all kind of complementary to each other based on the story that's being presented. But overall, there are some times in the story where the tone gets way too silly or way too serious or way too grounded in reality. There's even a scene where Ryan Gosling takes this drink that's drugged, and now he's seeing unicorns and stuff like that. So there's just certain moments in the movie where it just feels like it doesn't belong with the rest of the film. And I get it. There's certain times where, like I said, where his drink gets drugged and stuff, where the film kind of has to get silly to make that stuff work. But there is some times where I feel like the tone does switch around a little too much. And as a result, there's certain scenes that feel like they don't belong with each other in this movie. And overall, when the villain's kind of motivation is revealed, like who the overall villain of the movie is, the plot of this villain does feel a little messy. It is one of those things where even if the villain were to succeed, I don't really know what they would get or earn based off of what they won. So it is one of those weird kind of villainous plots slash motivations where the more you think about it, the more information that's provided to you as to why the villain's doing what they're doing, it does feel a little messy at the end of the day. And so I thought that aspect of the story, like making a more clear motivation for what the villain is doing over the course of this movie, I thought would have benefited the film overall. But overall, guys, I am going to give The Fall Guy an 8.5 out of 10. When it gets the material right, it gets it right really well. It's funny, it's action packed, there's drama, there's even a little bit of mystery thrown in. But like I said, there is some negatives along the way. Like it does have a hard time wrapping itself up with its ending. Some shots do go on for a little too long. I think more fine tuning with the editing would have helped this movie. The tone does switch around quite a bit, which is a little annoying at times. And overall, the villain's plot I thought could have been more clarified as to what exactly they wanted out of everybody and everything. So, 8.5 out of 10 for me. Highly recommend it. The summer movie season is here in 2024. Make sure you start it with The Fall Guy. It's a very well made movie. It's an 8.5 out of 10 for me.